Welcome everyone to the video, and today we are going to talk about the best teams in the game, the best factions, the best teams, who you should invest in. First, we're going to talk about the whales and the people that are spending money. Well, the best team that you could possibly invest in are the Greens. They are the best in events still. We have to see about the egg event because I have a feeling Rook's Rest, it's obvious they're still the kings of the content, so they will dominate in the events. Egg event has very beefy enemies, so we will see if the nerf to Aegon has hit it very hard. But they are still the king of raids. They are on the Iron Throne and on the Iron Throne for a reason. This team has got new units, but I would stick to the 5 legendaries that you can use for raid. Sunfire, an excellent character for events as well as the dragons. This is also the only team you want to be using against Viserion. The only team you want to be using against that dragon. You want to increase the birthright with Alicent, use Otto for the defense down and his ability to give the Greens more stamina, and just go ahead and unload with Aegon, Aemond, and Sunfire to do their magic. So the Greens are still the number one team. Very hard to take down, especially in raids. They can pick you apart because basically they have their turns ready right away and could just nuke whoever they want to nuke on your team, taking away key elements of the team. So the Greens are still number one, even though they have been nerfed. They are not going to last long in the longer battles. They are still a good option for the tower, because it is only 2 waves, and most of them you could get down pretty fast. So high-level green teams, that is that. So then let's talk about the current best team for free-to-play players to go for, and that would be the Baratheons. The Baratheons have many purposes in this game. The Baratheons have the faction bonus of increased gem damage based on how many members are on the team. Stannis has a great leadership ability that he will give 25% bonus gem damage to the team, as well as removing debuffs from allies and destroying gems after an enemy is defeated, and power-ups, which is useful in events with Rhaenyra. Baratheray, which are 4 Baratheons, 3 Baratheons, Stannis, and Rhaenyra, makes up for a great event team and great for free-to-plays. Even if you only have, when I had my alt account, I had a 2-star Rhaenyra, and I was still clearing content with my Baratheons and Rhaenyra. You have, for the tower, they are amazing for the tower. This is my tower team, as you could see. This is my tower team that I use, and I am able to clear it out 100%. I just got Varys to 250. Varys has also the ability to go into 2 towers. He has the ability to go into 2 towers, just like Theon. So he has a great ability to do defense down on an opponent, which is super helpful when you go up against characters like Sansa, Marjorie, Cat in the tower. When they have lots of renew, you want to lower their defense down and go attacking super solid on them and kill them. And he does scouting as well. So the Baratheons are phenomenal. Now with the addition of the daily summon tokens, you can get Robert shards as well as getting the Hound shards. So it is very free-to-play friendly since you get so many of the red tokens. And I would recommend going for Varys first with the purple tokens And then after you get Varys to a decent star level, then you can transition to Brienne. But in these summons with your green tokens, you're going to get Stannis, you're going to get Melisandre, and you're going to get Davos. So those are guaranteed. And then the Red God Altar, you are going to get Melisandre and Stannis in there. You're most likely going to get 5 shards. If you get lucky, you might get 100. People have gotten it. I've gotten 100 on Melisandre, so it's totally possible. And you could do that twice a day, once regularly and once with the ad. So that is the best team for free-to-plays. Now let's talk about the Starks. The Starks used to be the free-to-play friendly team. However, with the nerfs and the changes, they have not become a free-to-play friendly team. And why is that? Well, they have lowered the amount of ice that certain characters have done, so it is more challenging. And there's also another aspect, which is the Rob's War event. And the Rob's War event, you cannot overlevel your characters, otherwise you will beat it too fast and you will not get enough points. The points are with Ice and Bleed. King in the North, fantastic character for the Stark team. He gets stamina when someone is afflicted with ice. His move is a very slow speed, but with Ned as the lead, you're giving him lots of ice. Use a guy like Lord of Bones, you're giving him tons of ice. He's going to strike 4 random enemies and 1 main target with a chance to give lots of ice. And they did buff up the skills, so that is great as well. If you use his lead, I do use it in Dragons. When he dies, he comes back with 35% max HP, and allies gain 15% defense for 4 turns. Now, he is fantastic with the Starks. A must-have guy for the Stark team is Ned Stark. Ned has a phenomenal lead to give all enemies 1 ice to start battle, guaranteed. And then when an enemy is brittle, good things are going to happen. Healing. When he takes critical damage, he's going to heal. The Starks have tons of characters in there that are fantastic, with the addition of Robb and Talisa, which I understand you can only get in events. However, it's not the most free-to-play friendly option anymore. Brawler and Archer have gotten worse. Red Jon Snow has gotten worse. Sansa, amazing character for the Stark team. She will carry you in tower with her renews. Her ability to grant renews are just beyond belief. Renew, if you don't know, will give you 1% HP per turn restored for every stack. You can have a max stack of 10, and you want to get her to 4 stars. This is not a free-to-play friendly team anymore because Ned and Theon are in the purple tokens. Fine, that can be free-to-play friendly. But King of the North is in green summons. Sansa is in green summons. Catelyn Stark is in green summons. That's 3 characters right there. And then Talisa and Robb, the event characters. Now events are even more diluted, so you're only going to see it once a month. It's going to take some time to get the shards that you need to get things going. But if you have invested in the Starks and you have them at a decent star level right now, once you get them to 3 to 4 stars, you can move 4 stars, you could transition to the next character and use your tokens. So current free-to-play players that recently played the game, stick with Baratheons. If you've worked on ice, if you have Ned and Cat up, or Ned and King in the North up, then keep working on ice. Theon, my man, is a great character to have. He hits 2 towers for you. Super important. You could use him in the same tower as Varys as well. He does super high damage. He is a marksman, so he does a lot of damage. And he can inflict ice with bonus ice and raid as well. fast speed move, so you can do it. When someone becomes brittle, he attacks them. When a rated enemy is defeated, he strikes a random enemy. You do need high stars on Theon. Because he is a marksman, he does have lower health and lower defense. So just be on the lookout for that to get the stars that you need. Otherwise, he's a very solid pick. Ghost can be used. You just need lots of ice makers. Ghost does not have the passive anymore where he can make ice, but he does hit super hard. I use him on my dragon team. The Starks are a fantastic team to use on the dragons and in the tower as well. So the Starks are definitely a great investment. Let's talk about the next team on the list, and that would be the Targaryens, the Fire team. The Fire team also has Beric as well because he is a solid member. However, this team will be used in the Pit of Daznak in the tower mode, so it's important to have that. You have the heart of every Fire team, Daenerys. Now, the Fire team is still good in raids. The Fire team will probably get beat by big greens. So even if you do invest in the Fire team, I would stick to this team mostly for the tower. They are the best team to do the Pit of Daznak. You can use Grey Worm in this tower, and with the vertical power-ups, which Rhaenyra is going to make when an enemy is defeated, she's going to make power-ups. So sometimes these are going to be done. 2 random enemies with fire. You pair it with the Mender. The Mender is going to make additional fire. Daenerys, her ability gets her to give an AoE at fast speed, and she does bonus damage for each fire that they have. Max stack of 5. So your teams on here, I would definitely go with Rhaenyra because you're going to go with Rhaenyra anyway for the team. And she has the best lead in the game for events. She's a must-have character for events. So build her up for events and build her for the tower. We do have also been data mined on the Discord server. Join if you haven't already. Link in the description below. In the Discord server, it has been leaked that Daemon, yes, Daemon will be joining the Targaryens, as well as a new Rhaenyra for the Targaryens. We have Viserys, who is a great fire maker, fast speed, with a chance to inflict 2 fire. You have the Mender, which will do a max HP heal, which is better than an attack speed heal, and a chance for additional fire. You have the Maester, who when he critically heals, take a look at that, 40% chance for the critical heal. He's going to inflict up to 3 fire on every enemy. So you're going to get lots of fire going with this team, and it's going to do extremely well in the pit. It is the best team by far. You can use free cities in the pit, however, you're not going to get far. This is the team to do it. The Targaryen bonus 2 will make fire more effective. Fire is a damage over time effect, so the more stacks you have, the more damage it will do, and it will happen every turn unless they cleanse. Going with that team as well for the pit, it might be mentioned that having Drogon, if you have the luxury of having multiple stars on him, he can inflict 4 fire upon his target. 4 fire. Fast speed move, so that means it's going to be done at the same time as Daenerys. Great for bosses. Great to do that. Drogon, you could use him in the pit. You can't use him in raids, but he is good. So the fire team, they are solid in raids. They are okay in events. There's definitely much better teams. Baratheons will outscore them. But they are pretty solid in raids, and they are the best team in the pit. Then let's talk about the next team on the list, and that would be the teams. Well, let's talk about the last team that is the best team, and I will talk about the other teams and why not to build them. So, Night's Watch. Night's Watch is coming out with 2 new characters. Now, I cannot say anything about them because I do have to test. I do have to test multiple things to see what will happen. Now, this faction is the Shield faction. All incoming shields are 5 to 15% stronger, depending on how many Night Watch members you have. This is not a free-to-play friendly team, as Craster, Benjen, and Yoren have separate green summons, and they're coming out in April. So Craster is in one of them with the Ice Warden, and Benjen and Yoren are in another one. And then Samwell, Alistair, and Brienne are all in the purple summons, so it's going to take you a while to get stars on them. And if you want to use the king of the Shield team, Peter Baelish, who I'm dishing out 7,000 Shield per turn AoE on everyone but Baelish, you need green tokens as well. So it is the most unfriendly free-to-play team possible. So Shield is a niche team. I'm going to try to see if I can hold up with the greens, but chances are you're not going to build a Shield team that's 7 stars like mine, so you're not going to have that ability to fight off these massive green teams. So it's probably not even worth going for at this point. The Shield team has lots of members. They recently just nerfed Alistair's stamina speed from very fast to fast. And you might be saying, Little C, is this a big difference? Yes, it is a big difference, because this is a slow team and you need to get the moves out. Alistair has a fast speed move. Craster has a normal speed move. Brienne has a slow speed move. And Sam has a slow speed move. Now, Benjen can create shields passively if someone has buffs on them. However, it's only a 2 to 5% attack shield, which is very low amounts of shield. And then Craster has a 23% attack shield, which is not that much because he is a healer. He's a mender, so his attack isn't super high. The Shield team excels and does great against Sansas. You can snipe Sansas with Baelish or Craster. Craster has the bonus against the green enemies, so he will get that added effect. They recently just increased his HP pool damage. Mine is up to 160 now. The max is 175. So you could do a lot of shielding and a lot of great things. Brienne, I feel like, is essential in the Shield team because when a shielded ally is attacked, she is going to break up to 3 gems for each hit on an opponent. So if it's an AoE, she has a 75% chance independently to break 15 gems. You're going to create stamina and you're going to do damage with that. On top of that, she's going to retaliate for 55% defense physical damage at skill level 10. So you are going to be doing a ton of retaliation, as you've seen in my videos, and it is great. Baelish, the downside to using Baelish is he steals the stamina every turn. And in the past, before the update, when Brienne would attack and retaliate and destroy gems, you would get stamina and you could do moves. even if Baelish is stealing them. But for now, they changed the order in how it triggers, so Baelish is stealing after she creates the stamina, so you cannot do any moves. You can only do Baelish. The only time you can use Baelish in this situation is if he does not have a shield on him. Then you're good to go. So the new Night Watch characters I am excited for. However, I do need to test. Benjen has a depose damage, which is increased on how high their HP is, so might be a super nuke, and he does 300% shield bonus damage depending on how much shield he has. Alistair gives the biggest shield in the game. Mine is at 90% right now. They're both fast speed moves, but it is a slow team, and it is wanting you to die if you use Yoren, because he will taunt when an ally is defeated. Personally, I don't like my guys dying. I like my guys lasting. So he will do an auto taunt when someone dies, but if your main guy, your main damage dealer dies, you might not be able to win the match. So it's kind of an iffy situation. However, my old shield team, I would put at best teams in the game. Now, I was able to clear the campaign in full, treacherous, completed, with the shield team. I did use the shield team for it, and it was fantastic. Now let's talk about the teams that I don't recommend building. I don't recommend building the Boltons. I would recommend building some of the characters for Rob's War event, but not leveling them too high. As you can see, my Dreadfort Flayer is level 140. My Field General is 160. Bolton, Man of Arms, has a very fast speed move. I have him at level 50. Ramsay is good with the bleed to start the match, and when he does his move at higher stars. But I would not take them into raids. They're gonna get smashed. They're going to get nuked and destroyed. They're not a good event team. They're just, if you like the Boltons, that's fine. This is a game you can build whatever team you want, but I would not recommend them as best teams in the game. Another team I wouldn't focus on would be the Free Folk. They just don't have that synergy to build something well. Now, the best teams in the game are using 1-1 for his ability at 5 stars, where the stealth, if he is the leader, your whole team is stealth until 1-1 dies. So he's basically tanking for you at the very start. Greens do not have super high AoE moves. They have mostly single target attacks. So you're focused on killing the 1-1 and depleting your stamina. He also gets the max HP shield, so if you get him super high, that can be pretty beefy. So he is useful in raid defense. Lord of Bones, fantastic character for Rob's War. He could be a good raid character on the Stark team because he does do the AoE ice, and when an enemy is defeated, all enemies get 1 ice, and then he heals himself. But he is an epic, so he can be squishier and easier to kill. But he could be quite annoying. I am using the Ravenous Bone Collector in the Rob's War event at level 50 for the easier difficulties, because he does have a fast speed AoE ice move. It's only 1 ice, it used to be 2, but I do use him for the Rob's War event. But this team would absolutely get destroyed in raid. The single characters are good in events, but there's nothing really to rave home about. Let's talk about another team in, let me get to the screen. Another team in here. And I would not build the Lannisters. You might be a fan of the Lannisters. And Jaime is interesting because Jaime is the cheat code for Rook's Rest, if you use Jaime, Stannis, Otto, Aegon, and Sunfire, you could do that event flawlessly. You just need high stars, high levels on your characters, and every difficulty scale. So he is fantastic in that aspect. Being able to start the battle and strike the weakest enemy for 300% physical is fantastic. It's fantastic. But in a team, he just doesn't work here. Tyrion is great for tower. He is great for the tower. The Lannisters are good for that tower. Tyrion still has a great move. He works well in dragons. Some of the highest attacks I've seen against 10 skull dragons are used with Tyrion. And Tyrion will be next month's Gold Road. It has been data mined in our server. He will be next month's Gold Road, so you can get your own Tyrion. And he does have that ability where they're going to gain stamina every turn, and whenever they use their skill, all enemies take 350% of their attack as physical damage, so it's an AoE. You could put it on a guy like Bronn, who has a very fast speed move, and get it out constantly while he's gaining stamina. It's very effective, and Bronn can be used in the tower. So the Lannisters are good for the tower, but for raid, they're horrible. For the dragons, it's Tyrion. Tyrion is great for the dragons. He's great. You just got to get high stars on him. Jaime is good for the event. You can use Jaime, Tyrion, and Cersei for the tower. But this team I really wouldn't invest in other than single target purposes of the game. Not the best team in the game. Then let's talk about Dr. Death's team, the Greyjoys. I will have to say, if you do play the Greyjoys with the Triarchy, they can be an interesting team. However, I have faced Dr. Death's team in Raid, and I just smashed it. The AI had no idea what they were doing. They are a combo-based team. You have characters that you don't want them using their moves right away, or you need a specific order to do the moves, and the AI doesn't handle it. They also only have 3 legendaries and 2 epics, so having that is a huge disadvantage. They're really not going to do it for events. Theon is fantastic for 2 towers, and he works amazing with the Stark team. I use him against Rhaegal and Drogon all the time. He is a fantastic member, but they are not worth investing in. They are not worth investing in unless you absolutely love the characters from the show. I would not recommend it, because if someone faces you on defense with this team, they're just going to smash you. The Greens are just going to smash it. My Shield team smashes it. I'm sure the new Starks, the legendaries, they're going to smash it. I mean, they're a combo-based team. They need to be played manually. It's like why I say my Shield team is not very good on defense, because they don't know where to put the shields. You need a smart team for your defense. The Greens just dominate and just attack and nuke things. So they're very solid on defense. But teams that require you to make moves and figure out who to target and what skill orders to use, that is going to hurt you in investing. Now, they are more on the free-to-play friendly side if you don't go with the Triarchy. But if you go with the Triarchy, then you need to get Kragos, or whatever his name is. You got to get him as well, so it's 2 green summons versus 1. But if you're just going with the Greyjoys, I wouldn't recommend it. After facing his team, I just dominated it. It wasn't even a contest. They didn't do their moves in the right order. I think you're just going to get smashed. I think a Stark team is better. For that. So these are the top teams in the game. Again, if you are a spender, The greens are still safe to spend on. We have to see how they do in the egg event, but they are a top tier raid team. They still dominate in raids. For free to plays, the Baratheons are your team to go to. They are going to get you a ton of resources in the tower. The tower has so many good resources available to you. You get to level 25, you start earning the regular skill books. Then once you get to level 50, you're going to get a ton of silver. Then once you get to level 50, you're going to start earning even more. And then the levels go up. When you get to good old 75, that's when you earn your $1 expert skill books. I value these at $1, so you're getting $5 every 5 weeks, guaranteed. And then when you get up to level 100, which you will with the Baratheons over time, you're going to get $10 worth of expert skill books, and you're going to get lots of resources and bragging rights. And if they add ranked rewards or something to that effect to Crown's Challenge, you're going to be good there. So the teams that I mentioned, there's a couple of things in mind that they have. They're all good at the Crown's Challenge. You could use Night Watch. You could use Starks in the Night Watch Tower. Crown lands, you could use Theon. You could use Varys, who are in some of the other ones that I recommend. You could also use the Lannisters if you want. Crown lands could be the hardest one for you. Baelish makes it easy for me. Stormlands, you have the Greens and the Baratheons I recommended. And the Pit, stick with the Targaryens. Another team I did not mention in here would be Free Cities. And ever since the nerf to Free Cities, they just don't have it. They just don't have it in them. There are uses, like Daenerys has a beautiful ability to provide stamina at fast speed and heal. And when she is ready to die, she refills her stamina. She has that great ability. The Free City Synergy, if you use 3 members of Free Cities and you use Sunfire and you use Aegon, you should be able to clear level 14 and 15 of Rook's Rest without using a turn, provided you have them at the right levels. The Free City Synergy is a great synergy for content, but you're going to get most of these characters over time for free. You get Jorah from Trials. You get Zoro. Everyone has Zoro. And sure, if you want to pull the 3rd member, you could use some green summons and get them. Just get it for the synergy to be able to get things done 1, 2, 3 for more points. But they have fallen off the map. The Dothraki Longbraid is no longer infinite. And they did nerf and invert his ability, where it used to do a ton of damage on the initial hit and the secondary damage did less. Now it is different. So the team isn't what it used to be. I wouldn't really recommend them. I wouldn't recommend this team. Those are the top teams in the game. Comment below. Let me know what you think. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Take care all.